This podcast is a proud member of the UUOP Network.
Your attention, please, and welcome to the Portkey Passport, a Disney podcast for adults, where we discuss all things travel, Disney, and beyond. Grab your passport, sit back, relax, and enjoy the wildest podcast in suburbia. Hosts, grab your park bags and stand clear of the doors as we dive into this episode.
Welcome to episode 42 of the Portkey Passport. I'm Jordan. I'm here with Tricia, and today we're going to be talking about some of the enchanted extras you can book at the Disney World parks. But first, I'm going to kick it over to Tricia for our discount corner.
We've got a couple of great offers available right now. Disneyland is offering resort discounts. This is rarely done because there are only 3 options there. So if you book by August 25th of this year, 2026, and you travel between now and September 7th, you can save up to 15% at the Disneyland Resort Hotel. If you're looking for something a bit more exotic, Adventures by Disney is offering a $500 per person saving on select adventures departing between March 5th of next year, 2027, and March 26th of the following year, 2028. So you have some time to save for this. They just need a deposit. But you have to book by July 31st of this year to get that savings for the next year. And you can double up on discounts by taking advantage of the reduced deposit offer as well. So you can put down a smaller deposit, save $500 a person, and pay off over time, so that you can go to places like Thailand, Alaska, Australia, China, and Costa Rica at a discounted rate. But if we're talking domestic travel, Jordan, you have a trip review that you have to share with us.
I do. First, I wanted to ask you a question, Tricia. Have you stayed at any of the Disneyland resort hotels?
I stayed at Pixar Place before it was Pixar Place.
Okay.
So whatever that was.
Yeah. I've also stayed at Pixar Place, and the last time I was there, it was during the transition from, I forget the old name, but the turnover to Pixar Place. So I was curious if you had stayed at either of the other hotels, but it doesn't sound like you have.
I've been in like a lot of the public areas of both of them, but I've never stayed. It is more pricey generally.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is a 15% discount can be a substantial amount of money off those rooms out there.
That is definitely a pretty significant chunk. Anyway, back to my trip review. I was in Disney World specifically, we went to see the Savannah Bananas, or not exactly the Savannah Bananas, but the Banana Ball World Tour at Wide World of Sports. While I was there, I got to check out Muppet Rock and Roller Coaster, which was really cool. Happened to see, if you follow Disney Parks on social media, you've seen they put out a video with Weird Al when he was there, and I actually was standing in line when they were filming that video, so that was kind of cool to get a little behind the scenes look at how they did that. Also got to check out the new Mandalorian and Grogu overlay for Smuggler's Run. I went single rider and got to be an engineer, which is actually something I wanted to do, was be an engineer, which was
Okay.
it was interesting. I got to be on the side where you get to talk to Grogu during the ride, so that was a fun little extra they've added. I think it's made engineer actually worthwhile.
Oh, okay.
Of course, I did have the kid pilots who crashed the Falcon into everything they could, so I was busy, but it was still great to get to see it. I think they did a really good job with the overlay for the movie. Um,
compared to the original experience, do you like it better, the same?
I think it's neat to see it tied in more to the universe that we know.
Okay.
Whereas when you're just chasing coaxium, it can feel a little like uh generic space story. Whereas when you're
Okay.
working with the Mandalorian, it's like directly tied into uh the movie, or you're on planets you've seen before. So it's I think they did a really good job.
Okay.
And I kind of glazed over Rock and Roller Coaster. I think they did a fantastic job with that refresh as well. Really, really awesome references to other Muppet franchises you see in the queue. There's things that came directly over from Muppet Vision 3D. There are
Aw.
things, yeah, there there are things from Muppet History in the Parks that made it over. Trisha, have you seen the scooter animatronic that's in the pre-show now?
I caught like a glimpse of a picture. But I'm trying to stay as spoiler free. I know it exists, but I'm trying to stay
Okay.
as spoiler free as possible.
Okay. Then I won't say anymore, but he's really cool. Try to get up front, specifically if you can get towards the left side of the front, you get a really great view of Scooter from there.
I do have to ask what song you got.
I got Roller Coaster of Love. I don't know if that's the actual title, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Love
Okay.
Roller Coaster, I think, is the actual title.
Did you did you feel like it was a good fit for the ride?
I think it was, yeah. Uh, the one thing I will warn you is when we went, single rider line was closed when we got there, and they
Mm.
were directing people behind Tower of Terror, basically through the villain show in the courtyard there, to for spillover for the standby line. So
Wow.
if you are trying to do single rider, you may find that it's not open when you go. They did open it up eventually, but we were so far in the standby queue at that point, we just decided we were going to stay in standby.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
How long
Uh,
of a wait was that then?
so when we got there, it was posted 45 minutes, but by the time we got back over to the regular standby area, it had been up to 60. I think 60 is about how long it took us to get to the pre-show area.
Okay.
So it feels like you're going to be in line forever because you're
Hmm.
in a backstage area essentially, but they were cycling through pretty quickly.
Okay.
I did not, unfortunately, make it over to Magic Kingdom. The weather, at this time of year in Florida is kind of up in the air, and we just didn't have a chance to get over to check out Big Thunder or Astro Blasters.
Fair enough.
But I think that's about it. The banana ball game was great. Again, weather kind of threw a monkey wrench in that. We had about an hour rain delay where they kind of put us inside one of the buildings at Wide World of Sports. I think it's the building you go in when you're. I know you've done Run Disney. It's where you go get your race bibs and stuff like that.
Okay.
But I think they did a really good job. Credit to the Savannah Banana organization for keeping everybody entertained during that hour.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they had the pre-show going on. They brought some of the players over to sign autographs. They did plenty of stuff to keep the kids and families entertained.
Well, I'm glad they thought ahead in case of weather.
For sure. Yeah, it wasn't even raining when they made a big announcement, "Hey, we're going to shuffle everybody over." And before I think we were in there for maybe 2 minutes before the bottom just fell out. So they were definitely
Mm.
looking out for us. The stadium was still wet. Our seats were at the bottom of the 200 level, and the water had kind of pooled there, so I had wet shoes the entire night, but besides that, it was a great show.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah. But I think that about wraps it up. If you've taken a trip recently, perhaps booked through a Port Key Vacations travel agent, we'd love to hear about it. You can reach out to us at portkeypassports@portkeyvacations.com. And we'd love to have you join us and share a trip recap of your own.
And maybe we'll hear what song you got on the refurbished rock and roller coaster.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear what other people think. And if Trisha, you go check it out soon, I want to know how those other songs are for the ride.
I have to wait until September. That's when we have a plan to go down. So it's going to kill me.
Well, I will wait with bated breath.
All right. Well, moving on to our main topic, we are covering the Enchanted Extras collection, which provides some unique experiences. Where today we're focusing solely on the options in the parks. They do have things outside of the parks that we'll cover at a later date. But we're going to start in Hollywood Studios. And I had the pleasure of building my own astromech droid. Currently, the price is $129.99. That does seem a little steep for a toy, essentially, but it's fully customizable. You can pick different body styles, colors. There's different leg pieces. You can do more of a original like R2 unit. You can build a BB unit. Um, you can customize your personality for your astromech. Like we ended up buying a couple different chips just to see how they were different, and they actually are very different. Um, you can reserve a spot ahead of time through the app. However, I've never seen this fully booked. Like I will periodically check like day of when we're on vacation, more so just to see what things are still pretty um like hot commodities. And there's usually availability day of for this. Sometimes they even have walk-ups available. So if you want to do it or you're on the fence, you can always check that morning or go up to the droid building and see if they have any availability. Um, you do get a carrying like box. This thing is quite large. We're talking like over a foot tall for the R2 unit. I had to look at mine and kind of gauge it. Um, they have like add-on items. You can get like a backpack to carry it in that has like a little window. It will interact with other droids. So there's like areas where I've seen guests like put their droids down and they'll like move around in the land. And one of the really cool things about this that I don't think a lot of people know about, you can actually download an app on your phone, and it's called the Droid Depot app, and essentially it turns your phone into a remote control, and you can program your droid to do like a sequence of moves like turning to the right, going forward, back, and you can kind of make them dance to different songs. And then they'll run in the sequence that you set. It's like super rudimentary, but it's kind of fun to do that. So both my daughter and I have made droids over the years, and so sometimes we'll pit our droids against each other and have a droid dance party. So the fun continues after you return home.
Yeah, that's awesome. And the other extra at Hollywood Studios, it's kind of weird that there are only two, but the other extra is the build your own lightsaber experience, which is also in Galaxy's Edge. This is an experience I know Trisha you've done as well, but this is probably my favorite Enchanted extra. Um, it is on the more expensive side. I think the price now is $274.99 per lightsaber,
Mm.
and this is a experience you definitely want to book ahead of time. There can be, but are rarely reservations day of, and it's almost impossible on a walk up. But you get to experience what it's like to build a lightsaber with the gatherers, and that $275 is pricey, but the experience, if you are a Star Wars fan, is totally worth it.
Yep.
When you do the experience, you can take a builder and one other guest. So two people get to go for that experience, but only one gets to build. You get multiple parts choices. You get different styles of parts you can build. So, more traditional Jedi or elemental nature, or, if you are on the dark side, you get the Sith sabers, and there's also protection and defense, which is kind of the old Republic style sabers, which are really cool. And you get 4 crystal choices: blue, green, violet, and red. Like I said, if you're a Star Wars fan, this is an amazing experience. I've done it multiple times. I've taken friends to do it. It's one of those things that you might balk at the price, but every single person that I've seen do it has said it's an amazing experience.
And there's just something about walking through the park with that lightsaber, like carrying case
Yep.
over your shoulder where you're like, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
that person.
Yeah. And it's great for if you're in Galaxy's Edge in the evening. They're great for pictures.
Yes. I can also speak to they do travel well on an airplane. You can take them through security. Um, so don't be concerned about that. I stored mine in the overhead bin. It was like my personal item. And I just like let the folks on the flight know, like, hey, my lightsaber's up here. So it didn't get crushed by like wheels on a suitcase.
Yeah, and the cases you get are pretty well padded as well.
Yeah. All right. Well, if we head over to Animal Kingdom, do you want to talk about the first option they have there?
Sure. So Savor the Savannah is the first option. It's $199 per person, and you get special access to the savannah. It's a journey into the Harambe Wildlife Reserve, so it's beyond where you normally get to see on your safari, and it includes premium eats and drinks, is how Disney phrases it. This is not one that I have done, but this is one on my bucket list to do when my wife and I can get back to the park. This is definitely one that we will be taking.
Yeah, that one. That's like is that 4 hours? I think it's a shorter or a couple hours. I can't remember.
I can't see on the site where it says. I will look that up. Give me 1 second.
Okay. Yeah, I know we'll be talking about another one here in a minute, but I think, these aren't like half day or all day things. So it's not like you're spending your entire time at Animal Kingdom. Well, while Jordan is looking up some info on that, the next one we have is Caring for Giants. This is actually a really affordable option. It's about an hour long. I've done this with my family. It currently is priced at $39 a person, and they offer it generally 3 times a day, 9, 10, and 1 o'clock. I highly recommend you should get on this early because it does sell out. Maybe not like at the 60-day mark, but usually within like 30 to 45 days of traveling, you're going to see these are not available. The morning ones tend to go the fastest because they are um, like the most sought after. The animals are more active. It's not as hot in the morning. I want to say we went like midday, like the 10 a.m. one maybe. And you have to go tempering your expectations because you you get to walk backstage and then they take you on, well, basically this same kind of like safari type vehicle. It's a taller, more like rugged bus, but fully enclosed. and they drive you out to this viewing platform that's on the backside of the elephant area of the safari. And I mean, it's a large area, and you can't they can't really like call the elephants over. So if the elephants are there, you see them. If they're not, they have like some educational things that they kind of show you and explain, and so you learn a lot. There's very little seating though, so if you are someone that needs to be able to sit, it can be a little challenging, because there's like one bench and you're standing for like an hour in the sun. um, we went like in the quote winter, so the temperatures were like in the 60s the day that we had it. It was a beautiful day, thankfully, that we didn't have any weather issues. So um, I really enjoyed it. My daughter was super excited. We actually went for her birthday. It was in December, and one of the elephants and her share a birthday, and it was like her birthday was that day. So the little elephant was celebrating a birthday, and we told the cast member that it was also our daughter's birthday. And we were lucky enough that that particular elephant eventually did walk up. So we have a picture of our daughter on her birthday with the elephant on her birthday. And it was just kind of a special experience. There's no dining or anything with this. It's just simply like an educational hour, one on I don't know, 20. It's a small group of people, with a cast member.
That is, I'm sure that was a great experience for your daughter getting to share a birthday with one of the elephants.
She
But
loved it.
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say she loved it.
Yeah. I think along the same lines, the other animal experience you can do is up close with the rhinos. This is not one that either Trisha or I have done, but this one is $49 per person, and it seems a lot like the same description you gave for caring for giants. You get taken to a area on the safari to view rhinos. It's rain or shine, so it could be you could be out in the rain. Um, but yeah, it seems pretty similar to caring for giants. It's marketed the same way, just for rhinos, not elephants.
We had to do the elephants because that's my husband's favorite animal.
Yeah,
So that made the decision for us.
totally get it.
And finally, there is the Wild Africa Trek. This is a privately guided kind of VIP expedition. So if you've ever been on the safari and you're over by like the alligators, I believe it is, they have a kind of rope bridge you can see, and that's part of this. You must be 8 years or older and at least 48 inches tall to be able to participate on this. It is quite pricey at $229 per person. This also has three operating times: 8:45, 10:15, and 11:45. It is a 3-hour tour. So if you're going to do this, you need to set aside a fair amount of time. But you get to take a guided tour through like the Safari River Valley. You get to walk around, like through the grassland path. So they take you kind of out onto the safari. You do get to ride in one of the safari vehicles, um, and they get you. It's kind of like the safari but longer. They kind of take you off, kind of wherever they see animals. So like, you don't have to stay on the trail and then like, oh, if we're lucky, we'll see an animal. They kind of seek them out. Um, there are some photographers that will take photos as part of this experience, and you get to have a light snacking, I guess you could say. They have like hummus with pita, fresh fruit, chicken wraps. I mean, it's like a pretty hefty like hors d'oeuvre option. So again, it's really like a great activity. If you have to be pretty mobile for this. So keep that in mind. And they may cancel if there's lightning or severe weather. So if that occurs, they will give you a refund. But if you cancel, there's a less of a likelihood, especially within 24 hours, of getting a full refund back. So just be mindful of that, because this one is a little bit more adventuresome.
Right. And I think that's the same for everything at Animal Kingdom. It's kind of it's rain or shine unless there's lightning in the area, basically.
Yeah.
And just to close that up, I did find the Savor of the Savannah tour is about 2 hours.
Okay.
But if we want to move over to Epcot, the first one and probably my favorite at Epcot that we're going to talk about is the Behind the Seeds tour. If you love living with the land, you've seen the insides of the greenhouses there. That is essentially where you get to go on Behind the Seeds. They show you around the greenhouses. They talk about all of the things that Disney does as far as research into agriculture and growing techniques and things like that. You get to see some of the bugs they use as instead of pesticides. You get to taste a cucumber that's grown in the greenhouse area. It is a really interesting tour if you are into learning about those things, especially if you have a green thumb or are a gardener. It's one you would definitely enjoy. It ranges between $39 to $49 per person, and generally runs every hour from 10:30 to 4:30.
I I enjoy this one a lot as well. I don't know. There's just something about being backstage that just feels extra special. So,
Yeah,
well, there is also the opportunity throughout various seasons to do dining packages. So they have a Broadway dining package during um, what is it? Was that Wine and Dine, I think? No, that's the art festival.
is it
Yes.
Festival of the
And
Arts or
yes.
okay?
And then yes, Festival of the Arts is the Broadway. Because that's like music as the form of art. And then Garden Rocks would be during uh wine and why am I having problems today? The Food and Wine Festival. And then finally they have the Candlelight Processional dining package, which is it's more based around like the Christmas story from the Bible. um but it's done in such a like beautiful way. They play music, there's singers, both cast members, and then usually it's like local high schools or high schools that come down for their performance. So if you enjoy like the holiday spirit or the holiday season or holiday music, it's a great opportunity. And then there's always a narrator, and that person is generally somebody people know pretty well. They've had like Josh Gad in the past and Gary Sinise, who is often down there. They've had Neil Patrick Harris. My favorite, Ashley Eckstein, who is the voice of Ahsoka Tano. So it's really great. But essentially, these dining packages, what they do is they ensure that you'll have seating. um I mean, for some of the like Garden Rock series, they have some like Boys to Men and like Joey Fatone from NSYNC and Friends, and like they're people that will draw pretty large crowds. So with this option, you are guaranteed a seat. It might not be a very good one, so you should still arrive early. Um, so that you're not seated like behind a tree, because there are some trees planted in the amphitheater area for shade during the day. But generally, there's like select places that you can dine at. When we did it, we dined in I think we were dining in Italy. I just remember my daughter wanted spaghetti. So oftentimes it's kind of like a prefix menu. Like you can pick like I think it's like an entree, a beverage, and a dessert. And then they give you a wristband so that you can get access to that special area seating. Um, do you need this? No. But if you don't have it, you should get in line. Generally, people will line up at least an hour early for these events. So if you don't want to waste time, I would say if you get there at least 20 minutes early, if you have, the reserve seating, that's probably early enough to get a pretty decent seat. Um, there is the opportunity through Regal Eagle in the American Pavilion. That's typically the sit down or the quick service option that you can get the cheapest price. And the prices vary greatly depending on the type of restaurant you book with. If it's more of like a signature dining, your price is going to be higher. So just kind of keep that in mind. And as we get closer to the holidays, they'll release on the website, or you can, contact a Portkey travel agent if you're interested in that, and they can give you more details on what options are available.
Yeah, generally I tell people if there's an act or a show you want to see, especially the candlelight processional, you don't need to book these, but it's way better if you do, because you're either going to be lining up very early. I've seen people for Joey Fatone line up as soon as the park opened. Uh,
That's
but
crazy.
you're either going to be lining up really early or you're not guaranteed a seat. So if there's something you really want to see, I would advise people book this. And it makes me think of something we forgot at Hollywood Studios, which are the Phantasmic dining packages.
That's true. I I always hesitate to do that because I feel like every time I've tried, it rains and then you pay the price for the package, but you don't get to see the show.
Yep, that is the difference. The Epcot area is covered and Phantasmic is open to the weather.
Yeah. Have you done the dining package at Phantasmic
I
before?
I have, yeah. We
Where
did
did
brown
where did
sorry, we
oh,
did Brown Derby, and
okay.
the nice thing with that is we did show up still a little early, but we got seating in the middle of the amphitheater. Whereas if we had showed up at the same time, we would have definitely been way in the corners. So the
Yeah.
seating area is definitely great. The menu, it is a prefix menu still, but you get choices for essentially the things you would have wanted at Brown Derby anyway. So
Mhm.
I still think it's worth it if Phantasmic is something you really want to do.
I did it for my parents. When I took them, they hadn't been to Disney in over 20 years. And so they were like, we want to relive experiences. And I'm like, my God, what experiences still exist in like from over 20 years ago? But the 50s primetime was still in existence. So they offer a Phantasmic dining package. We did that. And I mean, my parents are older, and I tried to to accommodate that they wouldn't have to be standing for like long lengths of time, because that can be hard on an older body. And thankfully that was like the one time we did a package and it didn't rain. So I was really happy. All right. One of the more unique things you can do at Epcot is something called Dive Quest. It's in the Seas Adventure. This will run you $229 to $249 per person. There are some requirements for this. So first of all, you have to have proof of open water scuba certification. So that pretty much that will narrow down the field there. And you must be at least 10 years of age or older. And if you're younger, you do have to be with an adult, a paying adult as well. So something to kind of keep in mind that can be pricey very quickly. But essentially, while you're visiting the seas with Nemo and friends, you can basically take a plunge in the 5 million-gallon saltwater aquarium and swim with the over 2,000 aquatic animals there. Um, I am not certified to go scuba diving, and I don't know if I ever will be. But I have seen people do this, like in the tank. It does last for 2 hours. You'll spend about 40 minutes of that time and actually in the dive, but then they'll give you a backstage tour of the aquarium for the other part of the experience. So, yeah.
And then the last Enchanted Extra at Epcot is the Geo 82 fireworks package. I know I talked about this in our last episode a little bit, but I'll rehash it again. Um, that is definitely one of the more upscale fireworks packages. There are fireworks at Magic Kingdom that you can get, but this is kind of on a different tier. It is still 21 plus. You do still need that advance reservation. Um, you get champagne and their event exclusive cocktails. There's a tasting menu that is a really great kind of experience of flavors, and you get a selection of sweets to enjoy during Luminous. So I think it is on the pricier side. I can't see the price right now, but it is up there. But I think it is worth it, and it's one of the easier ways to get into Geo 82. Those reservations are hard to get, but you can generally find the fireworks package.
That's good to keep in mind if you really want to experience it.
Yep. The only thing to keep in mind is there are specific cocktails that you get, but if you want something that's on the regular Geo 82 menu, you will have to pay extra to get those cocktails.
Hmm. They are good cocktails,
They
though.
are, and the ones that you get with the package are great too. But I really wanted that banana cocktail, and I had to get it while we were there, so I paid a little extra to get that along with my old fashioned and champagne.
Well, we're going to hop over to the Magic Kingdom. So we'll pop on the monorail. And I'm going to talk about a couple of options for sprucing your hairstyle. The first is Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, and this will run you between about $60 all the way to $230. And this is for ages 12 or 3 to 12. So that is the window for when you can book this. Anyone younger or older, unfortunately, will have to use the next option I'll talk about. Lower end packages typically are like the night package. So that's more geared, I think, for like boys. You get like a shield and a foam sword. You can buy like a knight's, like, it's like a t shirt with like a knight's print on it. So it looks like you're wearing armor. Um, the higher end packages are going to include like a deluxe princess dress and then a hairdo. The girls get their nails done and they also get makeup. I've done this a couple of times with my daughter. One time we splurged, the other time we brought our own princess dress. So it was actually the one she had gotten the first time. So that's a way if you would like to save a little money, bring your own dress, that's or have them come in a dress of their own choosing first, and then you can pay for a lower option package that just includes like doing the hair. Um, this is, I mean, this is the kid version, I think, experience of like building a lightsaber. Essentially, the person who does the experience is like a godmother in training, and they're really great with the kids. Um, be forewarned that the glitter that they put in the hair basically adheres to the scalp for like a month. No amount of scrubbing will get this out. So I don't know what that glitter is made of, but it is very adhesive to human skin. um, the other less expensive option that you can do is you can head over to the Harmony Barbershop on Main Street and you can have your well, for littles specifically, you can buy a $28 package for your first haircut. You get a commemorative lock of hair, a certificate saying that they've had a major like life experience. You get a hat with little like a Mickey ear hat. Um, so it's a really cute little package for what it's, for the price. That's actually really good. They do also offer like adult haircuts. Yes, you can have glitter put in your hair. Again, it's at your own risk if you want to have glitter adhered to your scalp for the next month. But it's kind of a fun option. There is limited availability with both of these, especially Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, very popular. If you're thinking about doing this, I highly suggest that you book that at the 60-day mark. And also, I believe it's called Sir Mickey's. It's a shop right across from like where you exit Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, and they have in there like a little photo, kind of impromptu photo shoot. And we just happened to wander in there after we had gotten our daughter's hair done up, and like the little photo shoot they put on was freaking hilarious. I'll have to share one of the pictures in the socials because she looked like she was in the glamour shots. So,
And I'm sure if you have a reservation at Cinderella's Royal Table, a
oh
trip to
yeah,
Bibbidi Bobbidi before then would be a nice way to celebrate that.
yes.
One of my favorite tours that I've done, and I know I've said a lot of things are my favorite, but these have all been great and highly suggest all of these Enchanted Extras. But this one, especially if you are a fan of the behind the scenes areas of the park, is the Disney's Keys to the Kingdom tour. It's a 5 hour walking tour that takes you to a lot of backstage areas that you don't normally get to see. The coolest part is you get to see the utilidors. Um, this is priced at $169 to $189 per person. It's a 5 hour tour that there are four time slots from 8:39, and 9:30. So you are going to be walking during the heat of the day, so keep that in mind. There is about a 30-minute break in the middle for lunch. Our lunch was at Pecos Bill when I did this. We did get to go behind the scenes on a couple of rides as well. We got to ride the haunted mansion and go in through the back entrance and see how that works, and bypass through the pre-show and just see some behind the scenes stuff. You get a walking tour with one of the more experienced cast members. Our cast member who did our tour was a friend of Goofy's and got to tell us all about that experience. So it's definitely a very interesting tour if you are interested in the backstage things. We saw several cast members when we were down in the utilidors who stopped and talked to us about what their job was. One was one of the guys who worked the pyrotechnics for the fireworks, and he talked about that experience and how he got to Disney from his previous job. So that Keys of the Kingdom is a lot of fun if you like seeing how the sausage is made, I'll say.
I like that. This is also on my bucket list. I've yet to do this, and I think a big part of it is it is a chunk of the day, and with the age limit, typically I'm down there with my daughter, and she just hasn't been old enough to go. So
Yeah,
I'm
you do
just
have to
patiently
be at
waiting.
least 16 for this one.
So 4 more years, and I'll be there, or I'll
Uh,
sneak down by myself and tell nobody.
yeah, I mean, just go on vacation and disappear for 5 hours at the beginning of the day. No one will notice you're gone.
Just
But
send them to another park,
yeah, there you
fill them
go.
with sugar.
You need a little extra time in the morning. Send them off for rope drop, and then you have a 9 a.m. tour booked, and you get to roll out a little later.
I like that. Plotting
But
here.
yeah, the last experience we're going to talk about is the fireworks dessert party at Magic Kingdom. There are three different ways you can experience this one. I'll talk about seats and suites, which is you get a seat throughout the fireworks. it's going to be let's see, 124 to 134 per person, and kids ages 3 to 9 are $75 per person. This package does include wine and beer bar for the adults, so good to keep that in mind if you need a beverage at the end of the night. This is a great way to do it. It also comes with a dessert party buffet, so lots of different desserts you get to sample there. There are a few savory items, but it's mostly sweet. And there are other drinks if you don't want alcoholic drinks, and drinks for the kids as well. But this takes place. Trisha, what's the restaurant that used to be in this pavilion that is open every now and then?
The Galactic Grill?
Yeah, that's it. So
Okay.
it's in that area. If you walk by in Magic Kingdom, it's the area that's kind of between Main Street and Tomorrowland. But the cool thing about Seats and Suites, if you sit in that area, is Tinkerbell flies right over you during the fireworks. So it's really cool to get to see it from that angle. And Trisha, you've done one of the pre or post parties. So I'll let you talk about that one.
Yeah, so I have personally attended a pre-party and I've booked a post-party for a guest. And she shared her experience. And I think if I were to do it again, I would book a post-party, because essentially when you're done, you see the fireworks and then you go to your dessert party. Um, and when they were done at the party, the park had emptied out, and so they took some pictures down Main Street with very few people, and like I think that'd be a really neat experience. But I personally have experienced the pre-party one, so you head to that same area. These both are between about $100 and $110 for adults, and about $60 for kids ages 3 to 9. I believe it's the exact same like spread of food. They've got some really cute options, like the campfire brownie. It's got like looks like a little fire with like pretzel rods, and then you get like a toasted marshmallow on top, and they have like a pudding trifle type thing like that looks it's like the colors of Buzz Lightyear, and it's just they're very cute options. Again, there's a beer and wine for guests 21 and older, and then they have other beverages. My daughter was really into the sparkling apple juice that they were offering. So that was her big thing when we went. But essentially, you either enjoy the party and then go to the viewing area, or you go to the viewing area and then join the party. So everyone who's part of either the pre or the post party will share the viewing area together. Um, and generally, that would be if you're looking at the castle, you are on the right side of the partner statue, and you're just back behind that. So you have really good view. The one thing I would say, it is standing, but honestly, I think we got there about a half an hour before the fireworks, and people really hadn't filled in. Like my daughter ate quickly, and she really wanted to go on the Swiss Family Treehouse. So we walked over there and did that before we went into our like reserved area. And I planted right at the front of the grass where there's a sidewalk, because they have to leave the sidewalks clear as a way of like exiting if need be. So that was great because we had a nice like gap between us and then like the people in front of us, which made it easier for her because she was still a little bit younger at the time, to get a view of the castle and the projections. So just a little like insider tip on where to hang in that area if you want a good view.
Good to know. For your pre-party, once the fireworks were done, were you just kind of like released into the rest of the park?
Yeah, and that was another thing too, like for the post party, because we're all exiting. They have people with like the airport wands and whatever, and like exiting with the mask of crowd was is not fun, to be honest, at the end of the day. And that's why I was a little jealous of the people who had the post party one, because they were like leisurely walking up to grab snacks. But I had a young kid, so I wanted to be mindful of how late we stayed in the park.
For sure.
So how about like at the end? Because are you in the area and then do they have you leave like as the fireworks like how does that work?
So seats and suites, you do get to stay for a little bit after the fireworks. They don't rush you off. So
Okay,
you could be a little leisurely. Let the crowds kind of thin out and then head out. They don't make you leave as soon as the fireworks are done.
that's kind of nice.
For sure. Yeah, I highly recommend seats and suites. It's a lot of fun. And especially if you have littles, it's a place where you can kind of guarantee you're going to have a good view because there aren't a lot of
Oh,
people over there. You are further from the castle, but it's less obstructed and you don't have to deal with the crowds, standing
yeah.
in front of after you've picked out the perfect spot and then someone comes stands right in front of your kid
And then puts them on their own kid on their shoulders. I've had that happen.
or holds their phone up so your view is just their video.
And the screen is on full brightness.
Yep,
Can you tell we've experienced these things? Don't be that person.
please.
Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode. You have earned your in park Enchanting Extras badge, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
If you're looking for a great, big, beautiful tomorrow, continue to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Just search the Port Key Passport. Want in on the antics? Send us a transmission at portkeypassport@portkeyvacations.com with your comments and questions. Listen and subscribe to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and everywhere else podcasts are found. And feel free to leave a cast compliment in a review. Plan your next magic adventure by contacting your favorite Port Key Vacations agent at portkeyvacations.com. Podcast Assemble on the UUOP Network, the unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. Rush of Fear, a Halloween Horror Nights podcast. The Taste of Universal podcast. UUOP UK, Big Dumb Stuff, and theme park duo for West Coast news and updates. And check out our network partner, The Fudge Factor, on YouTube for park vlogs.